And this is about the collective, about the energies right now. It's about the dark forces embodying just a single reflection. And you've probably seen it before. It looks like a giant goat. I actually stumbled across this giant goat reflection in a client session, and they were talking about a really heavy energy that they were sitting with it, and it was just so much. It was so big, it's so grand. Like, how would it ever transform? How would it ever go away? It is something that they've come across multiple times in their life, and it was always defined as the ghost of Christmas past. Okay, so this is a very intuitive event. Then people who are sensitive and have strange experiences, there's going to be material that you can actually feel. And you could describe it, define it, and you might even get some definable words like ghost of Christmas past. What does any of that mean? You're developing a presence and awareness of its existence, and it's a calling, it's a connection. There's a pathway here. And so we dove into it, and it was an incredible, mind-blowing experience, all right? So everything that exists in the universe, you could say that we all are a spark of God, therefore we all come from the same source. You could say, okay? I think it's a reasonable thing to say, something we could all kind of agree on, all right? And that means that, let's say, from source, there was born a benevolent, unconditionally loving master of forgiveness called Jesus, all right? And born from God, from source, we're all part of the same ocean of sparks, okay? There was born something so evil, so dark, all right? Did it start as darkness, or did it start as something that was guided by its own sparks, by its own, I don't know, balance, its own ingredients, to become what then we would define as all that is evil? It's all that is good, all that is evil. And all that is evil it was given, is what it says. It was given this form as this goat, okay? I didn't choose to see it as a goat. It chose to show me itself as a goat. I mean, it could have chosen a beautiful golden bird. I mean, it could have chosen anything. It just revealed this goat thing and then said, yes, it was given this form. It was contained in this form for unfathomable amount of time. Okay, so here's how it all begins, all right? And I'm telling you this because this is a time for celebration for humanity, and it's a very good thing, and we can talk to all sparks of God. So if the spark of God is all that is evil, you can go talk to it. This isn't about, oh, but you're going to be manipulated by it. Do you know thyself? Have you actually gotten to know who you are? So as you are animated by your divine truth, and then that energy is animated by its divine truth, there is only authenticity that exists here. What else is there to the exchange? Are you trying to get something out of this? Are you trying to work with your mind's idea of the right way that things should be based upon a bunch of ideas that have nothing to do with authenticity? They're just convenient thoughts. In the energy world, true balance comes from authenticity, okay? And only when you are authentic and you know thyself, now are you truly your identity, your truth. And so as that truth, you can navigate any darkness, any realms of light. You can navigate whatever you want to navigate because you are your divine truth. You are in alignment with your frequency, okay? In a human form. Does that make me some powerful almighty being, or does that just make me an authentic person? That's where the true power comes from, okay? No matter what you are in this world, the true power comes from your authenticity. So check yourself today, okay? Are you being real or are you being fake? Just check yourself today. Is this the real me, or is this some kind of illusion of me that I think that I am, but I'm really not that? Because my life included all these things and now I'm just animated by all the things that have happened to me. But what am I and who am I? Time to let go of all the garbage. Time to get back to you, okay? Now you can go on journeys and go talk to the goat man. Okay, so, all right, so I want to tell you guys about this because it's huge and this is a time for a big celebration. And I am so freaking appreciative to this client. I'm so appreciative of the experience we had today that I couldn't help but share it with everybody. All right, so let's talk about what I came across. So there was a great weight that they were experiencing, ghost of Christmas past. Okay, so where I begin to navigate this and then what comes from this very, very cool stuff. So whenever I start a session and I teach people this, you just have to start from some kind of ground. And this is my beginning, all right? So I just start from a beginning and then I just throw it out to the universe. I cast a line out there, okay? Ghost of Christmas past. You know, because my intention is, who are you? What are you about? What's my client picking up on here? And then when you put energy out there, it echoes information back every single time. It always echoes information back. That's why you got to be still, and then you've got to just make a statement to the universe and then see what echoes back. It's a very, very interesting thing to do. All right, so what echoed back was kind of over here. There was an impossibly strong mountain, okay? It's like all mountains are pretty darn strong structures, but it was cracked in two pieces. So kind of like a canyon, you know? But it was cracked like a lightning bolt that strikes a tree and then it literally cracks and breaks, okay? And so this mountain was split. And then above that opening, there was this golden cross that was there. And so in my peripheral vision, because energetically, authenticity, right? I couldn't authentically turn to look at it, but my soul, which is one big eyeball, it could look over there and see what was over there, but it also was like in my peripheral vision, all right? This golden cross thing means something. And the ghost of Christmas past also means something. It's very interesting. All right, so now I'm facing the darkness and I'm like, okay, so what comes next here? Like what's going on? And then there was this voice, which is the ghost of Christmas past, which is the goat, all that is evil, you could say. And we got to define it as something so we can interpret it together, all right? And so it says, you know, kind of menacingly, oh, you want to visit me, do you? And it just sparks me to feel kind of like a, you know, Little Red Riding Hood, and I'm like jolly and off to see the wolf today. I'm not off to see my grandma. I'm just going to go hang out with the wolf in the woods and just see what the wolf is all about. Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, whoa, wow, are you threatening me? Oh, please. So I'm like on my way to see whatever this is. And it was freaking fascinating. All right. So everything authentically is. So I have nothing against it. You know, it can have something against me, but I don't have anything against it. Like you do you, okay? I'm going to do me, you do you. I'm just going to be authentic. You do you, okay? And so when I get there, this thing represented a very incomprehensible time. So time, incomprehensible time. So, and there was this heavy stone, and the stone was like slowly turning. It's like what is the amount of time it creates to even build a mountain? You know, that's like a very long time, you know? So the stone is turning very slowly, and a very, very heavy stone. It represented time. And it was not, you know, it's not vertical, it was horizontal. And so I was just turning, and I'm looking at the stone, and the presence of this emanation was very much like a never-ending echo, an echo upon an echo upon an echo upon an echo upon an echo. So it was made out of many versions of itself, because every echo is basically a duplicate of the same, but it's another version of itself because it's not the original. So what was the original? Either way, it was made out of all these echoes, like forever, across this like slowly turning stone of time, you know, the building of the mountain over there is cracked still. And I don't know anything about it. All right, so I'm just in this space and I'm like, wow, I'm gathering all this detail. Wow, for some reason, I have reverence for you. I don't know who you are, but there's something very special about you, very essential about you. And we don't know why the stories, the way the things are for all the right reasons. Only God really gets it, okay? And we say, God, why did you do this to me? But then 10 years later, it's like, oh, thanks, God. Actually, I'm so glad that happened because I like the person that I am today because of the crap that you put into my life. And you challenged me with it, and I like the way that I grew through that, and I'm really grateful for that now. Couldn't have been grateful for it then, but I am grateful for it now. And I can thank you, you know? And so that is the incomprehensible time, this time of darkness. All right, so I knew my role because in authenticity, you don't think your role, you know your role. Like I know why I'm tasked to be here at this time. I just know my role. And my role was to actually help this emanation, which I didn't really understand it just yet. I'm just going through what its style is. And I even told it, I said, you know, I'm here to understand what your weaknesses are because I'm here to help you. And so by understanding what you're afraid of, now I can help you face that fear. And now we can actually help you find some kind of transformation because the weight and the meaning of all of this is meant to change, all right? And so energy that has existed in a certain state for a long time, it becomes stagnant. And stagnant energy fears change. It fears change because change is transformation. And so this darkness has been in a stagnation for a very long time. And this is like the ultimate whisperer. But this has a beginning that it's the whole reason why people were motivated to, on some level, offer their most sacred possessions to a something. And then that something would take the energy from that possession, even children, and then bestow bounty upon the people. So it's a relationship with a something that began somewhere in time. And this is what I'm going to tell you about what comes next. All right, so I noticed that this being, this being didn't like me talking about this stone, and because I kept asking it questions, I was getting frustrated. It's like, okay, well, you're helping me understand your weaknesses, so thank you. So I take it, because in the energy world, you just take the meaning. You just take the meaning, which is everything. The meaning is everything. And then you put the meaning into the vulnerability, which is also everything. And so you take this energy and mix it with this energy, and now you have a thing that happens. So that's what I did. I moved this energy into the stone, and it started screaming. Because it became one with a very elongated period of time that its existence then had become stagnant within itself. And the stone, and merging with that time and all the experiences of that time, now it was time to reconcile all that time to go through the doorway of transformation, which is releasing the darkness from our planet. Do you see why I keep talking about celebration? Okay, so I started to hear the screaming sound, because souls do scream. They literally do create a sound of horror. It's almost like when they have to face what they've not been able to face because it's not been their divine time, and for whatever reason they decide they weren't ready to, or God wasn't ready for it to come. I don't know how it all works, but divine time's everything. But now it's time to transform. Now it's time to work through this thing, and this thing, it's going to hurt, okay? I went into that screaming sound, and I was taken to another time. And it's very hard to place, okay, what part of Earth, what time of Earth. It's very hard to put your finger on what this was. But the story is like this. There is this incarnate man, where this energy was actually animating this incarnate man. It was this incarnate man. And it was influenced by something even darker than itself, okay? Or maybe it was influenced by its own higher self that was guiding it in this life. It was just the pit of darkness. It was like the epitome of darkness. And the epitome of darkness was influencing the darkness of this being that was incarnate in this man, who was very much kind of like a cult leader mentality, very influential, and very spiritual, and very, the influence, right, is real, to make extraordinary decisions from the people to offer up what was a child, all right? Every person offered up a child, and this was a vast community. I mean, there was like 1 million kids. It was an impossible number of children. And so they were asked to offer their greatest possession. That's what it was defined as. And so a child is a great possession to a parent, right? But you can't possess a child, but you could call it quite a great possession. It's a very great thing to have. And why would you ever want to give up a child? It would be a very hard thing to let go of. But what was the Pied Piper of this whole thing? This man, this incarnate man, this cult leader type, convinced everyone, and this was bad times. I mean, this was really bad times. If they would give up their greatest possession, which would be one of their children, all right, and then the children be guided to a space where a spiritual event would happen, and that the abundance would return to everybody in the land, and everybody would prosper. All right, so this really went down, all right? And so I'm in this massive, very surreal cave. I had really high ceilings, and you could walk through it. It wasn't awkward to walk through this cave. And this like huge like mass of children is just following this singular man with a torch. And this man is this goat spirit, okay? And this man takes him to the edge. What is inside this cliff was a very, very deep hole. It was really scary. It's kind of like when Gandalf the Grey, he says to that darkness, he says, "You shall not pass." And he's like slams his staff down and breaks the bridge. But that thing, it actually is something of the deep, of the dark, right? And it grabs hold of him and pulls him on down. That had to be reconciled. Well, this thing is coming out now of the ground. This thing is coming out to participate in the story of mankind. This is generational. This is ancestry. This is layers of every version of Earth all combined at this nucleus point, okay? And so the man with the torch and the children, they get to this edge, and there's a lot of kids. I don't even know how to put a number to it. Millions probably too much, but it felt like that many, okay? It felt like a lot. Impossible, huge number. All right, so this darkness comes up and out, and this is messed up stuff, okay? As darkness comes through this like sea of kids, and as it goes through the kids, it does something to the inside of them. They start bleeding out every freaking pore. And then the children all collapse onto the ground, all dead, okay? And that's when it just like passes through and it does a thing, all right? And then this is done. This whatever this thing is done. And the man with the torch just sort of is still like digesting the reality of all of this, but there was a neutrality about it. It wasn't great sorrow and it wasn't great joy. But he leaves the cave, and when he gets out of the cave, the people are celebrating him because, as he had stated, that abundance returns. And so that almost like some kind of miracle happens. And then from there, people started to realize that if they gave up a great possession, that they would be blessed for it. So sacrifice is it's like the root of this whole thing. A sacrifice then to receive an abundance for that sacrifice. The energies are shifting. This whole thing is reconciling. This whole thing is coming full circle. It's served its purpose. This is an incomprehensible period of time. This is actually amazing. And so how this journey comes to a close, basically, there's different parts. It's kind of hazy now because it kind of journey states kind of take you there, right? And so I'm recalling. But I remember part of it was this energy that hadn't had a definable form was just put in a stone, right? And that was working through reconciliation was now sitting on a throne chair in a deep cave. And it was made out of stone. And then showed me this goat face and this goat form and said this was the form that was given to it. And then it asked that if there could be another form that it could take. Now, hear me out, because this might freak some people out, but this was actually very, very good. And you have to understand that we are all a part of the story and that it's all about love. That's where Jesus comes in. That's where the golden cross comes in, okay? Because Jesus still loves all that is dark. And if Jesus can love all things, that Jesus can truly love God, right? And then when we love God, then we can love all things. We can love ourselves. Then we can love each other. That love's all connected. That love's all connected. And there's those people right now, very sensitive people that are feeling this strange rippling and it's activating stuff and they're having crazy visions and things. So this is what I came across, okay? This is my thing I came across thanks to this client here. All right, so here is the new image that came from my authenticity was a Christmas tree. And as soon as I said you're a Christmas tree, your new form is a Christmas tree, and it became a Christmas tree. And the Christmas tree was families all over the world that celebrate Christmas. They were putting ornaments on the tree. They were putting gifts for each other under the tree, and the tree became a symbolic structure of the celebration and the joy of gift giving and the joy of families coming together and celebrating and decorating a tree. And this being just started crying. Because nobody loves this being. Nobody actually loves this being. Genuinely, they want something, but they don't love this being. And that's what changes everything, is the love. And what's interesting, this client was telling me how, they were introduced to this important prayer, and I can't remember what the prayer was called because it's got a Hawaiian name to it. But it basically represents that this is just a very powerful healing. You can do this on yourself. You could do this on others. You could find a picture of somebody and then just say these words. And the words are, I'm sorry, I forgive you, I love you, thank you. And so that prayer became a part of like a ceremony in order to heal this being and return this being back to God. And God called this being his son. God did. And God, just like Jesus, and Jesus was there. And it was this golden cross that had resurrected out of the broken mountain that was Jesus. And Jesus came at the Christmas tree of this being, and Jesus was there for his brother. And we were all there for him too, because we're all part of the story. Because everything has to happen for all the right reasons, it happens. And therefore we shall celebrate. Even in difficult times, we have to have faith in the process of all of this is happening for all the right reasons. And so this being cried because it hadn't felt love in so long. It was even terrified to even be able to feel it, to even be able to reconcile all this. And the client gave this being a really amazing gift. For it kind of phased in and out of being this goat and then being this Christmas tree. And the gift came in a beautifully wrapped box. And what was inside was a rose. It was like a forever rose. And didn't have a stem. It was just the bud of the rose. And it was so beautiful. And it brought this being back into the garden, and that all that is nature and all that is God's heart and all that is love and all that is all of us. It's like, I'm sorry, I forgive you. I love you. Thank you. We all said that. We all just kept saying that. And this being is returning to God, is returning to source. And that means that this being is quite powerful. So when this being is influenced by it, it's almost calling to be a reflective mirror of all that is dark. The whole world feels it. And when this being becomes a reflection of all that is light, the whole world feels it. And so there's a great deal of resurrection happening right now, a great deal of energetic transformations that are happening right now. So I don't know what else to say other than to just say what happened, and that's my authentic truth. And I just wanted to share it. I feel like it is worthy of being shared and reflected upon. And if you're ever in a pickle, try that prayer. If you're ever struggling inside yourself, if you're struggling with other people and their demons, or just their fears, their insecurities, their decisions hurt you, but it's the same thing. You just say it. You say it to everyone on the planet equally, because we're all on the same page. We're all part of the same story, and everybody's worthy of it. Everyone, every soul. The darkest are worthy of it. The lightest are worthy of it. Everyone is worthy of it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on this really cool conversation. Hope you're all doing great there. If I can help you in a session, just book one, abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Have a great day. Bye for now.